After I had finished off the body, I could move on to the interior. Of course, I firstly needed to cut out some of the parts from the sprues and clean them up a bit here and there. Once that was done to all of the parts, I could move on to primer. I'm just going to apply a light coat to every part and then move on to their colors. On most of these GT500 interiors, the stripes on the seats are white or red. In my case, since the stripes on the body are orange, I figured I'd do a contrasting stripe in orange as well on the interior, and also do some on the inlay panels for the door cards. Since the engine bay is molded onto the main interior pan as well, I moved on to painting that in the same gunmetal as I did for the body, so I could then later on mask that off and move on to painting the rest of that interior tub in a black. With the stripe color now dry on all of the parts, I could move on to carefully masking those off, just cutting some masking tape to size and then carefully placing it and cutting it to shape. Once that rear seat was done, the front seats were also done and the door panels were done too. With that said, I could move on to just painting everything black. A couple coats of black later and I could carefully start removing all of the masking. I wasn't a really big fan of the sheen that had appeared on all of the parts, so I decided to clear coat it all with a matte clear coat to make it nice, even, and give it a leather look. I personally like to have some carpet, or in this case some flocking, on the interior of my models, so of course I'm going to start off with that before I move on to extra details and assembly. I'm just going to lay down a layer of very thick and wet X35 semi-gloss clear and then just apply the flocking straight on top of it while it is super wet so it sticks really nicely and blends in. I added a couple of carbon fiber decals on the exterior so the interior could not be left out. I decided to do a couple things on the dashboard and also on the center console. For some additional details like on the steering wheel, I decided to take out my brush and some Vallejo paints and just paint those on by hand. This Revell kit comes with a super nicely detailed decal sheet. It has a lot of the buttons and also all of the instrument clusters on it, and it's a real breeze to just apply them as they fit super well and add an incredible amount of detail. With the Plamos conversion kit you also get a couple of sheets with photo etch stuff, and in this case I'm applying the pedals, just gluing them in place and having that look a lot better than the stock ones. With all of the detail painting now out of the way, I could move on to the assembly itself. I'm just going to glue it all together with some Super Gold Plus Bob Smith Industries glue, and then also add some seat belts from Scale Production to finish it off using the buckles that came with the Plamos photo etch sheet.